Hello, friends. Okay, IT guy's helping me. Looks like we're live. Hello, 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 my friends. Today, lots of ingredients. But it's going to be worth it. Sometimes lots of ingredients is worth it. This will last months, I promise you. We are today making a taco skillet, but I am out of my favorite taco seasoning that I make for myself. This is literally my taco seasoning container. It smells like it. So, we're going to get started right away. Hey, Chrissy, good to see ya. We're going to start off this with some cumin. And the reason I'm doing cumin first is because, yeah, I just decided to. That's why. Okay, so we need about 1/3 of a cup. And I guess I could do it through the thing. I don't know. I always take the lids off for some reason. And yes, I might get a little more of something or a little less of something, but that's fine. So, I'll roll that cumin back since I spilled some. And that's why I do it over the thing. Or when I'm measuring a lot of things, I do it over the sink. So that if there's a mess, it's in the sink. So I am going to grab another little container here. And I just decided to put all those out just to show you there's a lot there, but it really, truly is worth it to put all that stuff together. So we've got our cumin. We had about 1/3 of a cup of that. So how are you doing today, Christy? And I'm going to get 2/3 of a cup of chili powder. So we'll run this one out. And we'll go with the next one. Put that over so we can recycle it. I need 2/3 of a cup of this. By the way, the link for this is in the description for the video. If you want to make your own, I have a blog post for it, or you can just go to glutenfreefromthe513.com and look at the blog. It's there. I think it's easier to just grab the link, but you do you, boo. All right, we're done with that one. So into the water it goes. And then I need 2 tablespoons of paprika. Now, you can use regular. Hey, Ruby. I am good today. You can use regular paprika. You can use smoked. Today I just felt like using smoked, so we're going to use smoked paprika. And I need 2 tablespoons of that. It just kind of gives it a lovely little smoky flavor. I am late to the smoked paprika game. It was just a couple years ago where I discovered that. So, late to that game. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But next we've got our onion powder. And we're going to do about 1 tablespoon of that. The recipe calls for 2.5 to 3 teaspoons. So 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, so I'm going to use a tablespoon. Because on a lot of these, I like to just go heavier and make it less often, to be honest. And then got our garlic powder. And yes, all my garlic powder. I have like 3 things of garlic powder. So if you see me using it over the next 90 days or so, please know that I stock up. I also may just buy a bunch of garlic and make my own. We'll see. I saw a really cool video on how to make your own onion powder. So stay tuned. We might be doing something with that. Okay, oregano. I need about the same. Now, if you are of Hispanic descent, please don't yell at me. I don't have Mexican oregano. I need to get some, but I don't have any currently. So I'm using regular. Well, regular. I'm using Italian leaf oregano. You can tell by the smell, it's the Italian version. Okay, and then red pepper flake. We're going to the one thing I don't like about these. So I'm going to use just about 2 teaspoons of this. Any more than that, I can't take it. I'm a baby when it comes to spice. What can I say? Okay. Now we're going to talk about salt. A couple of things to know. You can use this if you want. You can use table salt if you want. I use this. The reason I use this, 1/4 of a teaspoon of this has 21% of your daily value of sodium. This one has, in the same 1/4 teaspoon, only has 12%. So almost half the amount of sodium. Now this whole thing calls for about 3 tablespoons of salt. I'm going to do about 2. And this one, I have done this for so long because I baked bread for years that I can pretty much measure what a tablespoon is in my hand. And I've proven it to my kids because they're like, "You're not measuring." And I'm like, "I know I'm not measuring. This is why. I know how much it is." So, anyway, and I don't care if I'm light on the salt, as you guys know. So, we are... What am I doing? Oh, pepper. I need about the same amount of pepper. So, I'm going to grind that up real quick. And again, you can use white pepper, you can use ground pepper. I'm just using fresh. And I really don't actually have to use this much. So, Queen Ruby hanging around her castle. I like it. Yeah, it's about to get a little warmer around our castles, Ruby. We're heading back to the 90s. How about you, Christy? We're creeping up the 80s this week and headed into the 90s over the weekend. So, yeehaw. I knew it was too good to be true. That it was going to last for very long. Okay. There we go. And I have doubled this. I will actually do this again probably in December, maybe even November. It makes great Christmas presents. Everybody I've ever given it to has loved it. And I've got one nephew. I make his extra spicy. I give them one for his family, and then I give him one to add to his. And he loves it. So I tease him and tell him he would return the jars to me. It would remind me to make him more. I'd make him some throughout the year instead. Okay. Now, here's the secret. This, if I open this right now, I'm going to end up coughing like crazy because all of that spice, you may not be able to see it, but there's a little cloud in there and it will make you choke. So, yeah. Well, I mean, it is August and early September. If we didn't have humidity with our high heat, we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves, right? Oh, while that settles, I am going to quickly do a couple of things. I'm going to chop up this parsley that I got out of my garden today. I think I figured something out, you guys. I think I'm a spring and fall gardener. I'm not a great summer gardener. I need stuff that's really simple in the summer, that maybe all I have to do is water it. Very little maintenance. Seems like everything I've tried to grow as a summer crop has just gone. So I think I'm going to start concentrating on spring and fall. And I'm going to be planting some things this weekend for a fall garden, which I've never done before. I've had stuff that's gone into fall, but I've never actually purposefully planted a fall garden. And with the way things are going these days, I think I'd like to make sure my food is as pristine as possible. Now there's stuff I can't really, I've tried growing corn. I have not been successful. I might try again next year. But what I found out was I think I was messing with it too much, if that makes sense. Some plants kind of thrive on neglect. So once they pop through, you want to water them and stuff until then, but once they pop through, they really don't want you to mess with them. So there's a couple of things that I want to plant that are supposed to be like that. The other thing I want to plant, and I won't get a harvest next year, but in the spring I want to plant some asparagus. It's one of those things I love asparagus. I really do. I eat it a lot. So I might as well start growing it, right? Same with potatoes. Potatoes are not that hard to grow. And I need to get them. I might actually try to plant some of those for fall. I think I'm a little late for sweet potatoes, but I might be okay. So just depends on when we get our last frost. And for where I am in Ohio, because I'm south and I'm right next to the river, and we're in a river valley, we tend to not get as cold as the rest of the state as fast. So I went to school up near Columbus, which is about halfway up the state, and home was always 5 degrees warmer than where we were, always. So there's my parsley for a little bit later. I'm going to rinse this off because it's driving me nuts. Too much stuff. But I need the cutting board again. So anyway, I also need to find out how long it takes for beans, because I think I'm going to try some beans other than green beans. And that kind of stuff lasts for years. So it's just parsley, guys. So I'll chop up an onion here. Now that we've got all that stuff started, I'll just get that stuff. Easy for me to say. Hey, IT guy, I forgot a garbage bag. Would you grab me one, please? Just one of the grocery bags. So I can just throw garbage in there, please. Yeah, it was funny. IT guy came home yesterday morning. Last night he had somewhere to go. Tonight he's got somewhere to go. I think the poor dogs were really excited, and then it was like, hey, where'd you go? So yeah, I'm excited to try growing asparagus. So that's one I'm excited about. And then I grew potatoes when I was a kid. I just planted, took some that had eyes in them that my mom wasn't going to use, and I planted them on the corner of the house, and 3 months later I dug them up. I wasn't real patient with them. Now I know what to do, but when I dug them up, they were kind of like new potatoes. They're about this big, and I had about 8 of them. So I was about 10 years old, maybe. I just thought that was the coolest thing, that I had grown something. My dad always had a garden, but this was me. I did it myself. So I thought that was pretty cool. And where did that go? Okay. My dogs will eat this so that the other one will not eat it. That's how goofy my dogs are. They just don't want the other dog to have it. They will eat an onion skin. They'll eat a piece of raw broccoli. They both hate broccoli. But they'll eat it so the other one can't get it. Oh. Yes. That is a wonderful way to make it. That is one of my favorites. I like doing it that way, and if we do it that way, a lot of times we'll sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on it when we're done. So that's always a favorite way to make it. This has got like a dry spot. So his friends don't normally do stuff like this, but all of a sudden they're starting to do that, which is completely fine with me. So sorry if that's really loud. I know sometimes the background noises when I'm using my AirPods are nutty. So while I'm chopping it up real quick. The other way my husband really likes asparagus is wrapped in prosciutto. I forget who taught us that, and what we do is we take a nice piece of prosciutto and we slice it like long ways, and that way we can put more of them, and then there's never enough prosciutto, but then we take the ones that have prosciutto on them and we lay them on top of the ones that don't, and that lovely juice just kind of drips down. It's wonderful. You know what? I forgot to get out my turkey too. My ground turkey for the taco skillet. I thought I was on top of things today. It's been a week. It's been a month. I will be glad to see August go. I mean, other than having some great times with my grandkids, it has not been the best of months. So, hoping September will treat us all a little kinder. I mean, college football's back, so that's good for me. I am a football fan. I like pro football as well, so that's always a good time for me. So, well, I would think panko would be great for that, for putting that on the asparagus. Okay, I remember to tell you guys, because I think you're both, yes, football. Because I think you're both subscribers. I'm pretty sure you are. I did open the community page, and I put a poll in there about soup. So we're going to start Souptember on the 1st. Not sure what I'll do on the 31st. Something to wind out August. We'll see how that goes. But then on Tuesday we start soups. And IT Guy has his pick already. There's 4 soups on there that I can only give you 4 options. So if you want to, I'm going to leave it on that. I think it'll saute it nicely. Last thing I have to chop. Nope, it's not. But I don't need this thing anymore, so I'll put that to the side. We'll give it a rinse again. This guy will go in the dishwasher because it's got that little parsley stain on there. Hey, IT Guy, can you get my turkey for me? Put the turkey in there. So you said you're addicted to veggies, Ruby. That's one of the ways I helped myself lose weight last year, with a lot of veggies, and I realized I wasn't eating the way I had been eating last summer when my husband was traveling. So I told him, I said, I gotta get back to this, which he is perfectly okay with. So I'm still getting, and I can see it's going to happen. This happened last year, and I think it's going to happen again this year, where I have a lot of tomatoes. I'm going to have a lot of tomatoes in September, because we're going to get back to the hot days and cool nights. I don't think you guys heard them. But I figured while those were sauteing and getting a little soft, that I would start chopping these up. So about half of the tomatoes in this bunch right here are from my garden, which is nice. But I didn't have enough to do the whole thing, but I had a few that I had bought. And I actually had to stop eating tomatoes for a few days, because I haven't done this since I was a kid, but I had so many tomatoes I had an acid sore. I don't know how adventurous I am with veggies. Although we tried the fennel the other day, and that wasn't a great success. But and it was funny because we kind of discussed they weren't bad, and if somebody served them to me, I would probably eat them, but I wouldn't go to the trouble of making them again, if that makes sense. And something I didn't grow up with was squash. So I had to learn how to cook a lot of squash, because that was not something. We always had boring vegetables growing up. We had, I shouldn't say boring. We had the same ones. We had green beans. We had asparagus. We had, although it was asparagus in a can. Oh well. And then we had, now when my dad had a garden, they had a bunch of different things. But again, they were pretty typical garden vegetables. They were, I don't think he grew anything strange. Now, I've either lost IT guy to a nap, or he's in the midst of something. I'm going to grab my cookies. Okay. Might have also gone upstairs. And he had to get some things ready for his outing this evening, so. Well, you know, with a lot of, it's a big bulb plant. And yes, the fronds of it are used, that's the fennel seasoning that we're used to. So, I know some people eat shaved fennel in a salad. But I figured I would try to cook it first, because it does have a very licoricey flavor to it, and cooking it mellows that out. So that part I knew. You know, I'm just going to pop this one. So anyway, so yeah, we tried to try something new here and there. New fruits, new veggies. And seasonal as much as possible. Like, we're coming into cabbage season now, which is kind of fun. Yeah, very aniseed, licoricey taste to it. Especially when it's raw. I mean, you can smell it when it's raw. But then once it's cooked, it's a lot more mellow. And we put a lot of cheese on it, so that did help. Cheese helps everything, pretty much. Okay. Alright, and while we're chatting, I figured out how to make my own crema. So, I went a little crazy. They had labna, which I've never had before, and I've always wanted to try, at Costco yesterday, and I didn't think to look at the label, and that was my one impulse buy when I was there yesterday. But I thought, oh, I can use it in place of yogurt. Well, here's the deal. It doesn't have much protein. I mean, yogurt has so much more protein, and I use like an Oikos yogurt. It has 18 grams of protein per serving. Labna has 1. So I'm like, okay, even everything I make with Labna, I'm gonna like add a little dollop of the Greek yogurt. So I'm gonna let that sit, and I'm gonna pop these things over here, and we're going to deal with our this is settled. You can still smell it big time. I'm gonna while the blade is still in there, so it's not gonna all go out that bowl. Got most of it to that side. I do not put this in the water. That one actually goes in the dishwasher because it's very, very sharp. When I doubled this, no, you're not supposed to do that. That's why I got the wide mouth funnel. This is a canning funnel, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. You find it with all the canning stuff, and it's great. It's so nice to have. For anything that's got a wide mouth. Okay. Again, my house, and I know this is, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I've even seen Joan. I haven't been online much today, so I don't know that I've seen her online today. And if her son and grandson are sick, that obviously is it's a tough thing for her because they're not in the same city. So she, I know she worries because of her son. So I will try to get in touch with her. When we get off of here. Although she could have also fallen asleep for a nap. You never know. So that's just like a really nice amount. And there, I'm going to put the lid on it for now just because I don't want to spill it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up just a tad. Oh yeah, we're doing great on time. Alright, so get this turned up a bit, it'll cook a little faster. Nice thing about the turkey, especially when you get the 93% lean, very little juice. So you don't have any grease that you've got to... So, oh God, that's awful, Christine. I've heard of these things happening, but my husband knows better. He knows to keep, he cooks though, that's part of it. My husband worked in a kitchen in high school for years, and then he worked in an Italian restaurant, and then actually he worked in an Italian restaurant that was owned by a Greek family. So At least I think he was. Were they Greek? Maybe they were Italian. They might have been Sicilian, now that I think about it. I worked for a guy, and I worked in a Greek diner. Well, I worked in the bar side of a Greek diner for a while. I was a bartender. It's one of my favorite jobs ever, actually. I had an older clientele for the most part, so not a lot of drama, not a lot of problems. People would come in, have a certain number of drinks, and that was it. Then they were done. And then they would leave me a nice little tip and go home. And they weren't the greatest tippers in the world. I mean, I made a lot more tips. There was a local boys' high school not too far, and when they had a game, I was slammed. But I would make more money, but you worked really hard, and you were, I mean, I was in my late 20s, so you were constantly fending somebody off. You know, wanting to buy you a drink, wanting to meet you after work, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, nope. And yes, there were a couple nights I actually had to have somebody walk me to my car just to make sure that person wasn't in the parking lot. So, and they never were, by the way. That was the good part. They were never in the parking lot, thank goodness. So, yes, they are, and so are we. So, I'm a brat more than my husband is, so I can't really say anything. I apologize to my husband a lot. I'm like, I'm sorry. So, anyway. Alright. Measured, processed, I diced my onion. Oop, now I get to have my taco seasoning. So, yeah, you think they know better about some things sometimes, and you're like, oh my gosh, why do I have to even tell you this, right? Yes, silly man. Alright. That should be enough. I may taste it before I add a bunch of other things to it, just to make sure. So. I wasn't married to my husband then. I actually quit that job because he and I started dating, and then I moved out to where he had grown up. So, in the beginning, I wasn't. I did date one of the bar patrons for a while. That made me hands off really quick. You know, people would say, she's dating Big Bob. And it was like, oh, okay, never mind. Which is funny because the guy was like the sweetest guy in the whole world. He was a big man, but he wasn't scary by any stretch of the imagination. Just a really sweet guy. So, but we were not made for each other. And that was fine. I had already been in a relationship where parameters were put on the relationship, and I was like, nope, for the second one. So, when a man tells you that Saturday is for, Friday night is for going to football games, high school football games with his friends, and Sunday is for either golf or going to a football game with his friends, I was like, nope, that's not the existence I want. Thank you very much. So, and he's like, well, we can work it out. And I was like, nope, not if those are your parameters. We can't. So, anyway. I love it, Ruby. You crack me up. Okay, next on the hit parade, we're going with some corn. Could I use half of it? Probably. Am I going to use all of it? Probably. We'll see. This is one of those meals, honestly. If you're going to make a taco skillet, put in it what you like. You know, I would do some onions. If you don't like onions, leave them out. You know? Yeah. A lot of leftovers. What can I say? If we don't want to eat them, I'll take them to my sister-in-law. She feeds a bunch of people. She'll be glad to have the extra food. She won't eat it, but the guys in the house will. So, and if not, I have two brother-in-laws who are very friendly with the local homeless population. So somebody will eat that food if I take it down there. It will not go to waste. So add some of that corn in there. Well, I always wanted weekend time to be family time, and my husband is very much like that, which I very much appreciate. So, okay, so next I'm going to do the green chilies. Wasn't long when I got started. You know, I don't know, Christy. There are people that just, like, they really get bent out of shape if you don't do things a certain way. And I think that's why certain people I follow online are kind of the same way I am. They're like, he's like, why do y'all yell at me? One of the guys, his name, Liam is his name. And there are things he eats I wouldn't eat. I don't eat Impossible meat. I don't eat it because it's high in sodium. I wish it was healthier, but it's not for me. He eats it, doesn't give him a problem. He's also a lot younger than me. So I'm like, you know, you do you. I will do turkey or chicken or beef. He can do his thing. So yeah, I don't get that either. I don't get why everybody thinks they have to police everybody else's food. But you know, I know there's people who don't eat pork. I know there's people who don't eat seafood. There's people who only eat seafood. And the thing is, I have what I would call a weird situation where my body doesn't respond to certain things. You know, people say, oh, you need to eat oats to lower your blood pressure. Not this girl. I will be in raging pain, even if it's gluten-free. So I don't. You know, I can throw them in a recipe now and then, but I make shepherd's pie and it has it in there, and I do put it in there. But I will always skip a day, because if I eat it 2 days in a row, I will be able to tell. So, large and in charge. I love it. I haven't heard that phrase in a while. So, now, do people do weird things with food? Yes, yes they do. So, but I'm sure some of the things, it's funny because some of the things that, like, I never told anybody growing up, one of the things we used to eat when I was a kid, my mom always got leg bones when she made soup, and then we would get the marrow out of those bones and we would eat it. And I know back in the day, if I had told my friends that we did that, they'd have been so disgusted and grossed out. And now, what do you pay? $14 to $20 for a bone that has some marrow in it? So, anyway. So, she is on a roll today. You are absolutely right, Christy. You're cracking us all up today, Ruby. Oh, my goodness. So, like I said, this is going to be a lot of food. And that's okay. Because honestly, if we eat off this a couple of days, I could turn this into a soup too. Make like a taco soup out of it. Wouldn't that be good? Oh yeah, add some extra stuff to it. But anyway. Well, and I know there's a lot of people who wouldn't eat that because everything's all mixed up. I know a lot of people want to. My dad was like that. He wasn't a big, and actually my family has never really been big on casseroles, which was hard for me because, man, do I love a good casserole. You could just do beans. I'm doing refried beans for the texture. So just to body. So do that when I'm done. So, if you want to make your own refried beans, have at it. All these things. Do it, do it, do it. Whatever makes you happy. So, whatever makes your family happy. Whatever your kids will eat. My daughter-in-law posted today, I have a 3-year-old grandson, and he has decided he doesn't want vegetables anymore, which is funny because he used to eat every kind of vegetable. But he has decided that vegetables are the enemy for some reason, and doesn't want to eat them anymore. So, she bought a chopper, and he helps her chop up the vegetables, and then she made spaghetti sauce today, and she blitzed all of the veggies, like carrots and stuff like that, and she blitzed them all and put them in the sauce. I'm like, I'm all for stealth nutrition, man. I used to do it all the time. I had a little girl that I babysat that swore she would never eat a vegetable, and I made chocolate cupcakes, and I hid some spinach in there. I didn't tell her till the next day. She was mad. Oh, she was mad. Funny thing was, her parents pulled her, which was fine. She was not my favorite kid to babysit. She wasn't very nice. She was mean as a snake to my youngest. So, which I didn't find out a lot about that until after she was gone. But, anyway. So, I used to do it in my son's smoothies. All kinds of stealth nutrition in that stuff. So, you can hide a myriad of things. So, ooh. Salsa of your choice. I like mild. This happens to be thick and chunky. That's all I had. So, thick and chunky it is. It says you can use the whole jar, but actually it says 12 ounces, so that's about what I used, to be honest. That would be one of the flat, one of the like squat little jars would be about 12 ounces. So I'm just going to keep stirring this stuff in. I'm going to pull this a little closer to me because it's hurting my back. So. Okay, you guys want to hear something? I bought an infinity hoop. I don't know if you know what that is, but if you're online, there's like constant commercials for it. And the reason I decided to buy it is somebody I follow on social media. She bought one, and I think I know she was well over 300 pounds, and she lost over 100 pounds just doing the hoop. And I watched her in real time. Like, I watched her over the last year do this. So I thought, oh, I'm going to give it a try. So I just got one. Who knows if it's going to work. They're not easy. I thought it'd be like a hula hoop. Nope. Not like a hula hoop. So we'll have to see how it goes. But especially when the winter comes and I can't get out to walk and stuff, I might, well, I can. I just don't like to. So I was going to add a little bit of beef stock to this, but I think I'm going to skip it. I don't think it needs it. I'm going to try it. We'll see. So, yeah, it's called an infinity hoop. So, it was on sale. I figure if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I've wasted more money than I've wasted on that thing. So, I'm going to give this a try. See how we're doing here. Just make sure I get some corn in there so I can make sure it's warmed all the way through. Ouch. It's hot. At least the bottom of the spoon is hot. Yep. Okay. So, normally, I would put all this lovely cheese on top. I would put this on top, but since my husband won't be home for at least an hour to eat, I want him to have everything kind of fresh. So I'm going to go ahead And I'm just going to plate mine up, and I will just do my bowl, so to speak. So, and I turned this off, so. And actually, I might put a little bit of that beef stock in there, just because I think it might need it. You want to do that? Nah, it'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. One of my daughter-in-laws says that all the time. It'll be fine. It's become a family mantra. Okay, so I'm gonna put a lid on that to keep it warm. Is that the right lid? It is the right lid. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna move this to the side. Drink. Put things together. And ladies, we're going to spend some time over the weekend. Yeah, Infinity Hoop. It's, hang on, I'll show you. I'll go grab it. We're gonna do some learning here in the next little bit too, and see if we can get these, get ourselves back on track. They changed the algorithm for YouTube. So we're getting a lot fewer views than we were. We're going to try to fix that. So this is what it looks like. You put it around your waist, or around your middle, and then this is a weighted ball, and it goes around the hoop. And it's not like a hula hoop. I really thought it would be, but it's not. So anyway, you got to keep it moving, and not as easy as it looks. So I will keep you informed on how it's going. They say if you use it for 30 days straight, and you don't, each link is like 2 inches off your waist, and if you do it for 30 days and you don't lose at least one link, that they will give you your money back. So we'll see how that goes. So there you go. So I'm going to add some cheese. This is a low-fat cheese from Kroger. Christy, what's your main grocery store where you are? I know Ruby knows what a Kroger is. I'm pretty sure she does anyway. I'm going to add some of those lovely tomatoes on top. And then, like I said, I did some of the labna. I did some of the Greek yogurt. And then a little bit of fat-free half and half. Oh, I'm glad I set that over there. I almost forgot. A little bit of parsley for digestion. Parsley is so good for you. I had no idea how good it was for you until recently. So, if you can't do cilantro, which you could do cilantro on this if you like it, I don't. Yeah, I figured you would. So there you are. We were just talking about you a little bit ago. All good. Everybody was just concerned about you. So there's two things. You can eat this. What did I do with my spoon? I don't even know. Okay. Just eat it with a spoon if you wanted. You could put it into a burrito if you wanted. Which is probably how IT guy would eat it normally, except he's having burritos for dinner. So he's they're ordering. So you guys do shop right, okay. I don't think that's, I can't remember if there's anything in the Kroger network that's on the East Coast. I know King Super, Ralph's, and there's another one, and I can't remember. Maybe Albertsons? Did they buy Albertsons? I can't remember. No, they did not. I think they wanted to and they weren't allowed to, because that would have created too much of a, it would have basically been down to just Walmart and Kroger at that point, which it's never good when you've only got one or two options. So, okay. I'm just going to eat with one small chip because I know it's going to be loud. You guys could hear the crunch of the carrots yesterday. Those things, I put those back in the oven for another 35 minutes. They still weren't done. So they are currently in my refrigerator. I actually had I had a veggie stir fry for breakfast this morning, and I had to unload my dishwasher, and so I put them in a little bit of like half a cup of gravy and just let that kind of simmer while I was putting things away from the dishwasher. And by the time I cooked everything else with it, they were finally soft enough to eat. So that was crazy. Okay, so that was without the chip. I'm not mad about that. The other reason I was going to put that beef stock in was because that'll give it more of a beefy flavor. And I wanted to do that, but you know what? Honestly, it really didn't need it because there's so many flavors in here. I mean, you get the corn and you get the potatoes and you get the beans and you get the chilies and you get everything. It's just all these different tastes are really, really good. I've never heard of Stop and Shop. I don't think. I thought it was a term. I didn't realize it was a different kind of. Yeah, but I never really shopped for produce and meat there either. Actually, I saw somebody the other day who knows about food safety, and they were suggesting it's time to go back to butcher shops. So I know that Costco has said they're not going to take any of the beef that's been imported. They will only be buying from American farmers, so that's kind of nice to know. I went and got a little extra so I could get it frozen because they're saying give it 90 days or so. No worries. Basically, Joan, it was, I have my own taco seasoning mix that I make, and so I made that, and if you're interested, there's a link in the description of the video to get that recipe. And then I used ground turkey in the taco skillet today. I did an onion, the taco seasoning. I added frozen corn. Like for you, obviously a small can of canned corn would probably be better. I added potatoes. That's an option. I added some green chilies. I used refried beans instead of pinto beans. A lot of the recipes called for that. I like it because it gave it more texture and substance, so I wanted that. And then I added some salsa, and then some cheese. I made my own kind of crema. I used labna, which is fermented, so that's got kefir in it, and then some oikos, Greek yogurt, and a little bit of fat-free half and half. So that's amazing. And then some chopped tomatoes. So I know if I know Joan, she would probably put some Cholula on hers. Because I know she's a fan of that. Okay. So was it a meat room at Walmart that you worked in? Sure, absolutely. Okay. So that's what it looks like. There's a lot in there. And it's going to last us a good long while. So, again, if we don't eat it, we'll share the wealth. I might even send some to my next door neighbor, because this is something she wouldn't make for herself. So, yeah, Joan and I have talked. I've made some other things that have Cholula in it, and I know it's one of her favorites. So, yet another reason to get Joan up here. There's one of our local grocery stores is an international store. I don't know. You might have even heard of it, Ruby. It's called Jungle Gyms. But
And welcome in, Missy. I don't know if I saw you, or if that's your first comment. So if we missed you, then my apologies. But Jungle Gems has an entire section dedicated. Well, when I say they're an international market, I'm not kidding. Their main store has like an aisle for. There's several aisles for the UK. There's there's an aisle for Indonesia. There's an aisle for Vietnam. There's an aisle for the Philippines. They may be a part of an aisle, but you cannot believe the things that you can find there. If you can't find it there, you're not going to find it in Cincinnati for the most part. Well, everything I make, Missy, is gluten-free. This is basically whatever we're having for dinner. I make it and I record it. Yesterday was cheeseburger in a bowl. Let's see, what else? I have done so many things, it's hard to remember. Next week, in September, we're going to start doing soups and stews and things like that. We're calling it Souptember. So we'll be starting that. And if you subscribe, you can go to the community page and there's a poll and you can vote on some of the soups that we're going to be having. And we've got, I think the choices there are broccoli cheddar, chicken and gnocchi, cream of chicken maybe, and lasagna soup. So it's a fun one, Ruby. If you come down, I'll meet you at Jungle Gems if you want. But it's an adventure. It's one of those. It's not a typical grocery store. You don't want to say I'm going to get in and get out. It is. There's their meat section is huge. It is like a whole deli, right there. And then there's a whole cheese section that is like a giant cheese store. There's all kinds of alcohol. There's a cigar store. There's all the old-fashioned candy. I know some of you are pretty close to my age. Just about every candy you can remember from when we were kids, if they still make it, they've got it. Things like even Charleston Chew, the little dots on paper. Remember those? They've got those. So they've got the new stuff too, but they've got a lot of the old stuff that's great for that. Charms Pops, do you remember those? They've got those, just things like that. But it's a fun place to go. And I love to go. For me, there's a lot of gluten-free things there that you can't get anywhere else. It's the only place I know of that I can get gluten-free dumplings in town. So they're expensive, but when you got a hankering, sometimes you're willing to pay a little more. So well, and the thing is, Ruby, the one I live right between, there's two of them, and I live right between them, and the one to my east is they have a food court and you can get a drink. I'm like, this is the smartest thing ever. They allow people to have a drink while they're shopping. They're just going to buy more stuff because they're going to be happy. I don't drink, but yeah, you can get yourself a drink, and then there's a place you can get something to eat, and you can just sit there and have a meal in the middle of your shopping experience. It's hilarious. So anyway, but this is today's meal. It's really, really good. Highly recommend. And just make it your own. Maybe you want the potatoes. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want regular beans or black beans. Have at it. It's one of those things you can truly make it your own. If you rather do beef or chicken than turkey, do that. Or even ground pork would work too, or sausage. So anyway, yes, it is a really fun store. So anyway, let's see. We're off tomorrow. I will be back on Monday. It'll be the last day of August. I'm really happy to see August go this year. Usually I'm not, but this year I'm really happy to see August go, and I'm looking forward to September, and we'll have some really fun things to make. I will, in addition to making the soups, I will probably be making something to go with the soup, because I know my family. I might be able to get rid, get by on a beef stew, but I'll probably have to have like some rolls or something like that to go with it. And I do have some things I need to get out of my pantry. I need to clean my pantry out. So we might be pulling ingredients and seeing if we can use up some of those in fun ways. So, and as soon as it gets cool outside, I will get the urge to bake again a lot. So we'll be doing some of those kind of things as well. So anyway, I wish you guys a wonderful rest of your day. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. Remember to get on the page, the community page, and vote in the poll. Would love to see what you guys want us to make. And otherwise, I will see you back here on Monday at 3:30. Yes, come up and party with me. I would love that. You know, we'll rent an Airbnb or something, and we'll go shopping. We'll cook. You guys can take some crazy stuff home. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll just set up a weekend and say, hey, if you can make it, come on in. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember to eat well, to be well. And I love you guys. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.